everybody, welcome to Matt's Metal Show. And today we're going to be talking about the one, the only Queen. One of my favorite bands of all time. A little Queen. I was going to do Queensryche actually, and then I thought, let me do Queen first. Because the Queensryche discography is a little ponderous, where the Queen discography is not. So, we all have a lot of background with Queen. I mean, not all of us, obviously, but I do. Probably 1980, The Game. I was like 10 when that came out. Another one, Bites the Dust, was on AM radio, like everywhere. And I fucking loved that song. I did. And I still love that song to this day, of course. But had that bass. Little John Deacon song. John Deacon actually wrote a couple of their kind of bigger hits, which was shocking because most of the stuff he wrote before that was not that awesome. I have a fondness for Queen. I know they kind of disappeared for a while. You know, Freddie passed away in 91, right? Right after Innuendo. They did come out with an album after Freddie passed away called Made in Heaven in 95, which was some of the album was stuff that they did with Freddie while Freddie was still alive. And then some of it was kind of stuff that Freddie had done back in the day, some of the songs he did off his solo albums. And they kind of retooled it, made a Queen album. I'll get to that. But always loved watching Queen. Freddie was just this larger than life. You know, if you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, you know, you had these larger than life, iconic entertainers that, you know, now we look at them and we're like, oh, that guy was totally gay. And you're a kid, you didn't look and go, oh, Freddie Mercury's totally gay. You know, he come out with little white shorts, a little neckerchief on. He had his, God, this thing's freaking me out. He had the mic stand that was missing. It was only the top part of the mic stand. Never as a kid or even as even a teenager, that stuff didn't bother us. It was Freddie Mercury. It was Elton John. It was, you know, Liberace. You know, it was Paul Lynde, you know, from Hollywood Squares. And, you know, it was just like, we didn't care. Back then, we didn't give a fuck about stuff like that. All we cared about was the performance and the performer. And Freddie was so over the top, man. He was just like amazing. And it was kind of weird because there was a lull after, 84, the Works album. There was kind of a lull in between. And then all of a sudden, Queen went out and performed Live Aid, right? In 85. And people were like, holy shit. And then they came out with Kind of Magic the next year. And that was the last year of touring for Queen in 86. Because after that, Freddie got diagnosed with AIDS. And then that's where the secrets, you know, all, you know, because you didn't walk around, hey, everybody, I have AIDS, you know. You didn't do that back in the late 80s. It was like a death sentence, basically, back in that late 80s. And you could definitely tell as things started to progress. I mean, you look at the Miracle. Freddie shaved off his signature mustache, and then all of a sudden you're like, "The heck's going on?" Innuendo. You saw the videos. You saw the frail, skinny, pasty makeup Freddie. And you knew something was going on. I mean, it wasn't publicly known. And it was sad. Sad to watch. But he did fight till the end. He was supposed to be dead like years before that. So, and Freddie did have some good days before he passed, where he told the guys, "Hey, I want you to record my voice. I want you to record me, um, and I'll try and get into the studio on the days that I can." And he would, and that's some of the stuff that came out on Made in Heaven after he passed away. So, here to celebrate Queen, man. Queen was one of those bands that just like defied logic, just defied it, because they were always doing something like different, and Queen was not a band that was afraid to do something different, and that was the coolest thing about Queen was that you never knew what you were gonna get. There's songs on there like if you listen to like in '74 Sheer Heart Attack when they put Stone Cold Crazy on there. Dude, that's like a fucking thrash metal song, It's like it's totally fucking thrash metal. Of course, Metallica covered it later on and threw a couple of F words in there just for the fun of it. But wow. And then, dude, you had stuff. This was on Queen 1 and 2, man. You had some hard, heavy songs. Sound like some Sabbath on there, And then they came out with, in '75, they did Bohemian Rhapsody, and everybody was like, what the fuck? You had all that intricate backing vocals and shit like that. Brian May, just that distinct guitar sound, and then fucking Freddie and John Deacon, solid bass player, fucking just would lay down there's a lot of bass riffs that John Deacon did that were amazing. He was like the unassuming character in the band because you had Roger Taylor singing songs like "I'm in love with my car, got a feel for my automobile." So you had that rambunctious drummer that had that super high voice. That was some of the highest notes sang on Queen albums was from Roger Taylor. It was from Freddie. So. Oh yeah. Bomb! That's Matt the Metal God, because I was telling him I was listening to... There's a song on the game called Don't Try Suicide. And I was listening to it this morning. I was like... So I listened to a bunch of Queen yesterday and a bunch of Queen today. Just to kind of dust off my memory of what is awesome and what is not. And I ran across that song. I was telling him that there's some albums that hold nostalgia for us, and like when you're ranking albums, sometimes nostalgia kind of gets in the way. And I told him, sometimes you got to push nostalgia aside and actually look at the better albums, because the game is probably, for me, is probably the most nostalgic album because I had that album. I remember when that album came out. I was fucking like 10 years old. It came out in 1980. So I was like 10, almost 11 when that album came out. And dude, I had the single, the little 45, Freddie jumping, Another One Bites the Dust. And Don't Try Suicide was actually the B-side on that, which is crazy because, dude, if you listen to Don't Try Suicide, it is the most bizarre fucking song. It's like Freddie's singing about don't try suicide, but then he's like, you're standing on my tits. And then he's like, don't be a prick teaser. Like, it's bizarre, man. So anyways, I was texting the Metal God, Matt the Metal God, this morning, and because we always talk about music, and I was like, yeah, Don't Try Suicide. That's a fucking weird ass song. It's a weird ass song, but that was Queen, man. Sometimes they would just throw a fucking left curve at you, and you'd be like, what the fuck? So, there's 15 studio albums. One of them, actually 2 technically are soundtracks, but one is an actual soundtrack, and that's, we'll get to that. I did include all those. I didn't include any of the Paul Rogers stuff, and I didn't include the Adam Lambert stuff, because to me, Queen is John Deacon, Brian May, Freddie Mercury, and Roger Taylor. It's not what it is now, which is Brian May and Roger Taylor. John Deacon retired like back in '97 or some shit like that. He lives this quiet life in this nice little house that he bought with this first money that he had, and yeah, that's what he does. He's an old dude. And then of course Brian's got like white hair now, and all that stuff. But don't really, yeah. I mean, Adam Lambert is a great fucking singer, man. But Freddie's gone, and I kind of preserved the Freddie stuff. I do remember they did get a rejuvenation with Wayne's World when they did Bohemian Rhapsody inside Wayne's World. All of a sudden, everybody started like, "Oh, dude, Queen!" And that was kind of cool because it's always nice to have a band like Queen who has such a rich fucking catalog, such a fucking amazing catalog. It's so cool when like younger people latch onto that and kind of resurrect them, and they did. And Hollywood Records went out and they remastered all their fucking albums, and always threw on a couple of bonus tracks that were worthless, because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do the remix of "I'm in Love with My Car." Yeah, they're not awesome, but it is awesome that they went and retooled that catalog because Queen is an important band, man. They're fucking amazing. So let's get into Queen. I'm wearing my Bigfoot shirt today. It says Legend of Bigfoot because we went up to the Redwoods and we went to this little spot in the road called Legend of Bigfoot. So I had to get that in there. So 15 studio albums. Start in 1973 and they end in 1995, 4 years after Freddie passed away. I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. So let's talk about Queen. Well, number 15 is going to be Flash Gordon from 1980. And the only reason I'm putting that at the end of the list is because it's basically a fucking soundtrack album. There's really only like 4 tracks that have vocals on them, and really only 2 tracks that are actually different, because 3 of the tracks are the same fucking Flash. They just keep rehashing it over and over and over again. So, yeah. The weather's changing. It's getting cold in the morning, so I always get like kind of congested. So I will try and sing through it. Anyways, this album is cool. Like musically, it's fucking cool. They do every member of Queen like was involved in this. Freddie wrote some stuff, and Brian wrote some stuff. You can tell mostly though it's a lot of Brian, but we all know the title track, Flash's theme, and that is fucking awesome. Everybody loves that. The movie, I remember when the movie came out, it was the same in like 1980. And it was fucking garbage. And, a lot of people embrace that. And they're like, "Oh, I love Flash Gordon." And what movie was that in? Where they tried to rekindle that? I can't remember what movie that was. It was some movie where they were like, "Oh, Sam Jones, let's," and they threw him in there. What was that fucking movie? It was fucking stupid as shit. Oh, it was Ted 2. Ted 2, right? That's what's funny is now all these filmmakers that are making movies like like Seth MacFarlane, they're all my age. So like they're throwing in shit that they had when they were kids. But I'm sorry, I was a kid when that movie fucking came out, and I thought that movie was fucking garbage. It had Max von Sydow in it, though, as being the Merciless. Yeah. It was not awesome. It was fucking dumb as shit. And I think that's why a lot of people like this, this album didn't do shit because, it's a fucking soundtrack album. But it is what it is. The singing songs are Flash's theme, Flash to the Rescue, Marriage of Dale and Ming, and Flash's thing reprise. Oh, and the Hero is the last song, and that's actually the different tracks. It's basically this has got Flash's theme and the Hero are the only two different vocal performances on here. The rest of it is fucking exactly the fucking same. It's just Flash. Oh, he'll save every one of us. So that's number 15, Flash Gordon soundtrack. Like I said, a lot of cool little music and stuff, but a lot of fucking dialogue from that shitty fucking movie that came out in 1980 with Sam Jones. And, you could be like fucking Marky Mark and fucking embrace fucking that movie. Like, people always embrace Big Trouble in Little China, which is a cool movie, but still, if you watch it, it's very shitty. Come on. All the 80s movies were like, they're alright. Some of them. But anyways, that was number 15. Number 14, I'm going to go 1995, Made in Heaven. It is what it is, dude. This is basically, there's about, a lot of people love this album, actually, because it was the last glimpse of Freddie that we were going to get. This was, Freddie, there was a few songs on here that were Freddie actually said, hey man, get me while you got me and record me and then do what you can. Obviously it was his last wishes that he wanted to have some new Queen stuff before he went out. So they did that. It's a Beautiful Day is just like a piano piece that Freddie was doing. It's got some lyrics to it. They kind of extended it. Mother Love is technically the very last song that Freddie ever worked on with Brian May. And he was supposed to come back and finish the vocals. He said, hey, I'll come back and finish the vocals. And he never made it back. So the very last lyric, Brian actually sings the last lyric, which is touching to me because it's so sad, and it's so unfortunate that we didn't have. Nowadays, you don't even hear about fucking AIDS, because there's treatments for it. But back then, it was a fucking death sentence. And can you imagine? I mean, Freddie Mercury just like, dude, you're gonna die. It was like having like stage 4 terminal cancer. You're gonna die, dude. It sucks that a couple more years in the future, Freddie would have been fine. He'd still be with us, but unfortunate. This is a cool song. It has a lot of like little pieces of some live performances from like '86 and stuff on the tail end of it. And it ends with a baby crying. But this is truly the last vocal performance that Freddie would lay down. And yeah, when I was reading that, where it said, he told Brian when I feel a little better, I'll come back in and we'll fix this up. And then he passed away. He never made it back to the studio. So, this album's cool. Like, it's cool to listen to. A Winter's Tale, is like another Christmas song from Freddie. Too Much Love Will Kill You was like a leftover song from The Miracle that got kind of jettisoned from The Miracle because they had some issue with the writing credits. Because it was written by Brian May and like 2 other people. and for some reason they couldn't get their writing credits. And it was actually on the original song listing for The Miracle, and then it just got removed. So that's cool. That's like an older song. You Don't Fool Me is like a vocal part that the producer actually came up with a song and kind of metered a song around it. It's not stellar. It's kind of cool to listen to this album, but the reason why it's so low is one, not a lot of stuff on here is fucking phenomenal. But at the same time, too, for me, it's kind of a bummer. The cover is like, there's a statue on Lake Geneva of Freddie looking out over the water, and that's what the cover of the album is that statue. I think it's at dawn looking out across the water. And it's the famous 86 pose with the, you have the white and yellow jacket. It's just, this album is like a reminder that Freddie's dead to me. It is. So that's why I don't really reach for it. Plus, a lot of the songs are just, I don't want to say they're doctored, but they're doctored. Because they that's all they had. They have these vocal performances, some of them more complete than others, and then they just kind of tried to weave around it. But they were doing it from the heart. They weren't trying to make money. They were just trying to get a product out that Freddie wanted to, the fans to hear. It was like Freddie's goodbye. So, but to me, it's kind of depressing. So, that's enough said about that. That's number 14, Made in Heaven, 1995. Number 13, I'm going to go. 1989's The Miracle. And that was the first album, like I said, where Freddie's, trademark mustache is gone. And you had that cover where all their faces, which is trip, man. All their faces are melded together. So it was kind of trippy. But I can remember for a lot of years I fucking hated this album. I really did. It's just really flamboyant and really kind of tongue-in-cheek and really kind of like off the cuff. Like Party. It opens with Party, which is a cool song, but then it goes into Khashoggi Ship. And we're talking about like Adnan Khashoggi. Remember the old like Robin Williams where he's like, "Look, welcome to Adnan Khashoggi's living room. This man makes more money than you could ever goddamn dream of. I'm Robin Leach with a voice so loud even animals are going, who the fuck are you?" Those two songs, they're fun. It's like one song kind of split into two. They're fun, but they're kind of dumb. The Miracle's a great song. I want it all. I want it all. I want it all, and I want it now. Wow, that's such a good song. There's a couple of versions of that, though. I know there's the version on the album, and then there's a different version on like Classic Queen. So, and then it has Invisible Man. Invisible Man. Now this one, I think, if I'm correct, I'm gonna check it out here. This one on mine, because I have the original CD. And I think it had some bonus tracks on it because there is. Let me see what the original had on it. Yeah. The original ended with "Was It All Worth It?" So that originally it had 10 songs on it. Now the first 5 songs, they're pretty stellar. They're pretty good. Party, Khashoggi Ship, The Miracle, I Want It All, Invisible Man. The second side of the album with Breakthrough, Rain Must Fall, Scandal, My Baby Does Me, and Was It All Worth It? Up here, down here. So, and then my version had 3 extra songs on it, which was, if I'm not mistaken, let me check my data here. It was the extra tracks from the CD release only. So it was Hang On In There, it was Chinese Torture, and then it was Invisible Man, the 12-inch version. That Chinese Torture song, it's a little instrumental that Brian May does. It's fucking amazing, though. It's fucking cool as shit. Chinese Torture, too. It's such a good fucking... What? Wow, people have blown my phone up. I think that was Brian May saying thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Brian. For me, The Miracle was like, it was cool. It was weird seeing Freddie with no mustache. You know, we paid attention to shit like that back in the 80s because we were like, dude, Freddie Mercury has a fucking mustache. I mean, the last time you didn't see Freddie Mercury with a mustache was like, you know, back in the early fucking days. But once like early 80s started, it was like, that was how you saw Freddie Mercury. Fucking voice, man. Jesus! Alright. The Miracle, it was alright. By this time, Freddie already knew that he had AIDS, so, you know, that might have affected the album. They didn't tour on this, so that was that. Alright. Number 12. The thing about number 12 is 1982's Hot Space album. Now, Hot Space was the album after The Game, and The Game was huge. The Game sold like 4 times platinum here in America. It was fucking Another One Bites the Dust. It was a fucking big album. And then they come out with this Hot Space, and a lot of people thought it was Hot Mess is what it was, because it was all keyboardy and it had like electronic drums. Like you weren't sure if Roger Taylor was playing on the album or it was all programmed drum machines. It was really fucking weird because it was not something that you expected. It was almost like a dance album. It was like a fucking 1982. It was like Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo is what it was. It was fucking amazing. No, I'm just kidding. This album got a lot of shit. It went gold here in America since it sold 500,000 copies. But you do the math. You go from selling 4 million copies of an album to 500,000 copies of an album. You know, yeah. Did fucking Roger Taylor play on this? He played drums on all but 10. All but 10. Cool Cat. He didn't play drums on Cool Cat. Oh, that's fucking weird. If you watch the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, which I like that movie, it was fun. All those movies are fun, but they're all got people. You need to understand something. They're not 100% the God's honest truth, okay? And some of them kind of play with timelines and shit like that because they got to make their lives as interesting as possible. But I'll tell you something. Even rock stars and shit, every fucking second of their life is not interesting. I mean, some people think that shit, but it's not. You know, like fuck. Same with that like Rocket Man movie, like the Elton John movie. Like I remember watching that, and then I was just like, the timeline is way off. It's like spectacularly off because the way they kind of do it in the movie is that like Elton gets clean probably about 10 years before he actually got clean, because you listen to like Less Than Zero and all those fucking albums in the 80s, Elton John was like coked out of his fucking skull. So when you're watching that movie, ooh, that was kind of cool. I was doing the boat. Like a strike a pose. when you watch the movie, it was like this was kind of after like Freddie was doing his solo projects and he got hooked up with that fucking manager guy, like that was like manipulating him. And the only thing I don't like about the Bohemian Rhapsody like biopic is that it's Freddie Mercury's dead, so he doesn't have his input, so I don't really trust it 100%. Freddie Mercury was a guy that, like, you saw him on interviews where he was like, I don't like to do interviews because I don't like talking to people I don't really know, and that's the way he was. Freddie kind of, marched to his own drummer, but anyways, so this album came around. They were trying different stuff and doing all this stuff, and in the movie they kind of paint Freddie as the bad guy for this album, where they're like, oh, he was going crazy, and they were doing all this stupid stuff. All the band members were part of it. They all wrote songs for it and everything. This used to be my absolute least favorite album, and then I remember a couple of years ago, because I had all the remastered stuff, and there was some stuff that I listened to and some stuff I didn't. Now, this album has Under Pressure, which is a Roger Taylor song, mostly, with a little bit of Mercury and a little bit of David Bowie in it, and a little bit of John Deacon. He got credit for writing that, too. Everybody fucking knows Under Pressure. It's a fucking masterful song, The terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends ski. Let me out. Let tomorrow take you high, high, high. More people on streets. Turn away from it all like a blind man. Now, with the injection of Bowie into this, it makes it fucking amazing, which actually makes this album that much better. I remember the video for Body Language got like banned from MTV, and it's so funny because you watch it now and it's like it was like watching Jazzercise on Showtime when you were a kid, or Cinemax, with the chicks with the, doing the workouts with the. That was about it. It wasn't like pornographic. It's so funny what they used to ban. But that song wasn't awesome. Action This Day is a good song. Put Out the Fire. I like Life is Real. Song for Lennon. It's the song for John Lennon. Because, John got murdered after the game. And this was the next album, so it wasn't... they hadn't had time to talk about John Lennon's murder. La Palabras de Amor. That's a good fucking song. And then, of course, Under Pressure. So, out of the 11 songs, about 4 or 5 songs are really cool. The thing is this is like nothing that fucking Queen had ever done. It was beady. It was like... And at the time, and you can watch it on YouTube, Michael Jackson was like a huge Queen fan. He loved fucking Queen. He used to hang out with Freddie all the time. And Michael Jackson will tell you, or well, not anymore because he's dead too, but back in the day, Michael Jackson would tell you straight up his biggest influence for the album Thriller, which is the #1 selling album of all time, was this fucking album. Yeah. Hot Space, 1982. This album, we were born and bred to hate this fucking album because it was just so different than what Queen would ever do. And, and Freddie, back in the day, they used to put no synthesizers on every fucking album. They would make sure and tell you, like, no, we use real piano. We use real instruments. And they hated synthesizers. And then they came out with this, and it made them look like total hypocrites because this album is synthesizer fucking slathered. Like butter and bread with synthesizer. Hot Space, number 12. I don't hate it as much as I did. When we were kids, we were like... I don't even know anybody who had this album. Really. It was fucking garbage. We all had the game, but we didn't have fucking hot space. We were like, the fuck? But by 1982, you know, I was into Ozzy. Fucking, yeah. So, number 11, I'm going to go 1984 with the little album called The Works. The Works was kind of a comeback album. I mean, the damage they did, you know, they went out on tour in Hot Space and everything, but like, I don't think it did. Well, it didn't do well here. And the Works didn't either. The Works went gold. Queen wasn't a huge American band. They really weren't. So, boom, boom, boom. But The Works, 1984. So it's got Radio Gaga on it. Radio Gaga. We all remember the fucking watch that live version that they do from Live Aid. Watch Freddie just standing out in front of Wembley fucking arena, packed with Wembley Arena. It looked like a small country, and they were into fucking Queen, and it was fucking awesome. It really was, man. You watch that performance where they're all doing Radio Gaga, you're just like, holy shit. This fucking gives me goosebumps. Whew, so amazing. Tear It Up's really good. It's a Hard Life. I Want to Break Free. That was that video where they were all dressed like chicks. And it seemed to me like, well, Roger Taylor actually looked like a cute chick. Freddie had his mustache, but he looked like he was enjoying that the most. John Deacon was the old lady. Of course, because he was... John Deacon was this dude. You watch John Deacon, I see he was just like... he was like, is that guy alive? And then Brian May was like the housewife with the rollers and you know, the pink bathrobe. I Want to Break Free. That was tongue in cheek. They were kind of making fun of some British TV show. I can't remember what fucking show it was. Was it? I can't remember. But that was amazing. I remember everybody was like, "What the fuck?" But like, I thought it was fucking awesome. It was fucking genius. You know, it's like watching Benny Hill or something. It was fucking hilarious. Hammer to Fall is a fucking great song. Wow. Is this the world that we created? That was a cool song. Keep pushing the open. Keep passing open windows. This was a solid album. It's not one of my favorites, but we all love Radio Gaga and fucking I Want to Break Free. It's fucking cool. This is that album right before they went into Live Aid, and that kind of like resurrected their career, because everybody needs to understand Hot Space was a misstep and it didn't do well for them. So I know they went on tour for it, but I know like people kind of wrote Queen off after that. Plus there was some bad behavior that on Freddie's part, because I remember they were wedged into the the Live Aid set. They were, if you watch the movie. And like I said, I don't know how much of that is true. I will tell you that actor, and I can never remember his name. It's like Rami something, right? He nails the performance, because if you watch the Live Aid performance, you watch what he does. He fucking does everything. In fact, when I was watching the movie, I'm all, Freddie didn't fucking do that. He didn't stick his tongue out and go, ah. Yeah, he did. He fucking did. Go watch it. He pretty much nailed it. But if you watch the movie, Bob Geldof, just because he was cool with them, and that was the only reason why they like put them in there. You know, because they had Black Sabbath, they had fucking Led Zeppelin. Um, you know, they had these legacy bands that people were like, oh, yeah, we want to see fucking Jimmy Page and Robert Plant play with like Phil Collins, you know, and who's the bass player? I don't know if it was. Was it? I want to say it was Tony Franklin, wasn't it? I don't know. I don't think it was John Paul Jones. Was it? I'll have to look it up. But I remember the Sabbath reunion. Ozzy had that black and silver sequin thing and Iommi and shit. But dude, Queen, you know, it was like they almost didn't make it. They almost like were like, nobody cares about you. And then they kind of got shoveled into this weird little slot. But dude, if you watch that performance, Freddie walks out and he walks over and sits down, and there's this monster fucking. I don't know how many fucking people fit in fucking Wembley Arena, but it was fucking amazing. And just he starts fucking around on the piano, do 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 do, and they go into Bohemian Rhapsody, and you're just like. And that was kind of on this tour. Oh, you know, a year later, but woo! So we got the Works at number 11. Number 10, I'm going to go Innuendo, which was the last real Queen album. This is when Freddie was sick. This is, if you watch the videos, you see that gaunt, dying Freddie Mercury in them. It's a good album. It had some cool songs on it, and then it had some absolutely amazing songs on it. The title track is great. I'm going slightly mad. And you're rushing headlong. Headlong's fucking great. I can't live without you, though, right? These are the days of our lives. That's a cool song. Not one of my favorites. Bijou's good. I like Hitman. And then The Show Must Go On ends the album and really ends Freddie for us. I can remember when this came out, it was a big deal, man. And they were like, oh, wow. Putting a lot of videos out, trying to do some movie magic with Freddie so he didn't look like he was fucking dying, but he did look like it. You watch those videos now and you're just like, what did he weigh, like 50 pounds? He looked awful. But some of these songs had had that Queen gusto to them. Some of them were a little lighter, a little. But dude, like Headlong and like I'm Going Slightly Mad, the title track, and The Show Must Go On. Like those songs, they are Queen songs, like powerful Queen songs. So this was Freddie's kind of bow out. And it's a great album. I don't reach for it a lot, but it's pretty awesome. Innuendo, 1991, the final Queen album while Freddie was alive. So, number 9, I'm gonna go The Game from 1980, and this is like I was saying. I was talking to Matt, the Metal God, and I was saying, if I went on nostalgia, this would be in the top. Whatever, But while I was compiling my list, I was like, and I would actually go, the Game, because The Game was that first album that I, as a kid, had from Queen. Probably the only Queen album I really had. When I was a kid. Later on, of course, I had, the important stuff, but as far as like a new Queen album and me getting it, this was fucking one of the first albums. I don't think I bought it in '80 though. I think my sister did. I want to say my sister bought it. I used to steal my sister's albums all the time because my sister's 3 years older than me, so she was hip to Billy Joel. She loved fucking, like, she had the Grease soundtrack. She had the fucking Xanadu soundtrack from fucking Olivia Newton-John and Yellow, you know. She loved Styx. Paradise Theater was one of her favorite albums. I'm pretty sure she had this. I want to say. Because I remember having the game. I remember looking at it. I remember looking at the album with that black and white picture on the cover with them. But, yeah. I know I had the single, though. Another One Bites the Dust. But I'm pretty sure I borrowed this from my sister. But anyways, so going off nostalgia, I'd be like, I put the game like way high and be like, oh my god, it's one of the greatest Queen albums of all time. But then going by like the work on it, it's number 9 in the top 10. And here's the reason why. Play the Game is amazing. Bolt your weary head and let your heart decide. It's so easy when you whatever. Dragon Attack's a cool song. I know they played that live for about 5 years. Got a dragon on your back. Right? Another One Bites the Dust. John Deacon. With that bass line. Steve walks with it down the street. Brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Are you standing on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip out to the sound of the beat. Yeah. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust, and another one gone, and another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, I'm gonna get you too. Another one bites the dust. Shootout. You know, I remember as a kid, we used to listen to 13K, which was, you know, AM top 40 fucking, you know, rock radio. And, you know, they used to come out with these little booklets. Hold on a second. Anyways. Ooh, I'm all sweaty now. I was looking for, we used to have these little 13K, these little things that used to come out and had like the top 40 in them. And then it would pick a song and it would have the lyrics. And one of them was Queen, another One Bites the Dust. I used to go pick it up at Duffy's Record Store in CNT when I was a kid, like in 1980 and 81. So, I have them. I just don't know where. So, anyways, let's get to the album anyways. The Game. Need Your Love Tonight's alright. That's the thing. Rocket, Prime Jive, that's the Roger Taylor song. You know, there's always a Roger Taylor song. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they're Rocket, Prime Jive. Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Supposedly Freddie wrote this in the bubble bath while they were recording the album. I don't know. Like I said, Don't Try Suicide. It's a weird fucking song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's weird. I guess it has a good message, but then I don't know if it does or not. Sail Away Sweet Sister is amazing. It's a Brian May song. And then Save Me. But coming soon, Don't Try Suicide, Rocket, Prime Jive. You Need Your Lovin' Tonight. They're alright. So this album is like half awesome and half not. And that's the game, number 9 from 1980. And then we're going to go number 8. We're going to go It's a Kind of Magic from 1986. This was kind of the unofficial soundtrack to the movie Highlander. A lot of these songs were in the movie Highlander, but kind of in different versions. If you look up on Wikipedia, it says like there was never a release for the album for the soundtrack, which is weird because I have it, but it's actually like two albums or 3. It's got a bunch of Michael Kamen stuff on it, and then it has the songs in their original form from the movie. And it has the one thing that was missing from this album was Freddie's rendition of New York, New York. You know, like the if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere, New York. You know, that was in the movie, like I think it was on the radio when like the Kurgan was driving. We all know the Kurgan, otherwise known as Mr. Krabs. Yes, the Kurgan is Mr. Krabs. Look it up. Who's the voice of Mr. Krabs? I can't remember his name. Mr. Krabs. Clancy Brown, of course, Clancy Brown. That was one of Clancy Brown's first movies. He played the Kurgan, that bad immortal. Remember, he like gets his throat cut, so he just looks like a punker, and he puts fucking safety pins in his neck. The Kurgan. This is a great album. This is when they went on that 86 tour, and I have the live show from Wembley. I actually have 2 live shows from this tour. Wow. It's pretty amazing. Whoa. Boom, boom, boom. It's a kind of magic. It has One Vision, which is a great song. It has It's a Kind of Magic. One Love. You know, that's a cool song. Has One Year in Love. That's not one of my favorites. Friends Will Be Friends was trying to be that poppy, like, 1986 feel-good song. Who wants to live forever? Ah, oh, what a fucking awesome song that is. Brilliant. Fucking give me the prize, the Kurgan's theme. Give me the prize! And then it ends off with Here we are, the princes of the universe. Oh. Ain't fighting for survival in a world that just today. We believe the king made the princes of the universe. Anyways, from the movie Highlander. With what? Who's in that? Sean Connery, and that Lambert guy. I remember, like, the first movie's amazing because it was straightforward, and it was like, you know, 80s straightforward, filmed in like Scotland and shit like that, and then the second one, like, they were aliens from another planet, and I think there was like 4 other ones, but I said yikes. This is a cool fucking album. And this is the tour that they went out. This was the last Queen tour, 86. They went out, they played Wembley, and that's where you see that iconic yellow jacket, white pants, Freddie Mercury, you know, from the statue on Lake Geneva. That's where this came from. This was like Queen rejuvenated after kind of, losing their way a little bit. The Game was a huge success, but then Hot Space wasn't. The Works wasn't. It had some great songs on it, but it wasn't like a huge success. And then this album, you felt like kind of like, oh, people started to take notice of him after that amazing um, performance at Live Aid. But once again, like Queen's not a huge U.S. band. Like I'm not at this point. So they did this album went 2 times platinum in the UK, but here in America it only went gold. So um, that's number 8. It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, yeah. What in the... All right, number 7, we're going to go 1976, A Day at the Races. Now, a lot of people go, ooh, that album is amazing. Probably the biggest problem the biggest problem about A Day in the Races is that it's wedged in between Night at the Opera, which Night at the Opera, A Day at the Races, of course, and News of the World. It's kind of wedged in between 1976. So for me, for the older Queen, there's good songs on here, but nothing that, obviously like blows me away. Plus, there's some songs on there where I'm like, I don't want to hear that anymore. It has Tie Your Mother Down, Tie Your Mother Down. Yeah. We all know that's a Queen staple song. You Take My Breath Away is a great fucking song. The Millionaire Waltz, which is written about their manager in a nice way, I would assume, because they hated their previous manager, and we'll bring that up later on. But it has Can anybody find me somebody to love? Which I think has been way overused. It's been in like 800 fucking movies now. That's like the go-to song where they can like, oh my god, this song is so amazing. Let's put it out. I fucking hate that. It's like somebody love. It's a cool song. It's one of Queen's staple songs, but I don't really. Yeah. It's got White Man, which is it's a good fucking song. It's got Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. There were like hints that Freddie was gay. If you weren't paying attention back in 1976, and I wasn't because I was like 6 fucking years old, so I wasn't really listening to this album. But if you wanted like hints that Freddie was gay or bi or whatever the fuck he was, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy is a pretty good place to start. Hey boy. This is a solid album. It's not, to me, there's like Long Way is kind of boring. You and I, it's alright. Drowse is drowsy. And Tio Toriat, Let Us Cling Together. That's that song that's like sung in Japanese and is written about their Japanese fans because they were huge in Japan. Like, fucking huge. Like, the Japanese people fucking worship them. Which is funny because they're all wearing kimonos, like, after this. Like, all the time. Like, Brian May is, like, on stage sporting a kimono. And you're like, are you a fucking geisha or something? Like, that was the thing back in the day was like all the bands had to fucking go out and find a kimono and wear a kimono. Rush did it, Kiss did it, Queen did it. I think Brian May probably has an extensive collection of kimonos that he cherishes to this day. Cool. I mean, the Japanese people fucking love these guys, man. So it was cool, man. They used to go over there and like they were treated like fucking royalty. So that was fucking awesome. So they wrote this song about them. It's not one of my favorites because one, it's kind of slow and kind of boring. I'm not Japanese, and yada yada yada. So I think We Will Rock You was written more about their American fans. And then Tio Tio Ito Shate Pokita Kai Tomo Arigato Mr. Rabato, whatever the fuck. Anyways, this is a solid album, but like I said, it's man sandwiched in between two albums that just roll over this like a fucking Sherman tank. So sorry. A Day at the Races, 1976. It's going to be number 7. Number 6, we're going to go to the debut album from 1973. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It has Keep Yourself Alive, Keep Yourself Alive, I'll be there, Keep Yourself Alive. It has fucking Great King Rat is fucking awesome. This is a heavy fucking album. Now the thing is the production on this album and on Queen 2, I don't think they knew how to produce Brian May. Fuck, I don't think they knew how to produce Brian May for a lot of years because like Brian May is always, if you listen to some of the shit he is playing, it's fucking like crunchy and fucking like, you know, fucking doom metal. But he's so kind of back in the mix, back in the pocket, that it doesn't come off as it should. And so when you're listening to like Queen 1 and Queen 2, listen to what Brian's playing because he's playing some fucking Black Sabbath-y kind of fucking cool ass shit. But he has that weird tone. He's playing the Red Special, which, you know, him and his dad built. And it has that distinct sound. You know, you can always tell when Brian May plugs in. Like, oh, that's fucking Brian May. He's fucking playing that guitar that his dad made him. So a lot of people kind of overlook Brian May because he's not wall of sound in your face. He's kind of back there a little bit. And so like when you're listening to like, you know, Great King Rat, you're listening to like fucking some of these songs off these fucking albums where he's kind of like, even Keep Yourself Alive, Ogre Battle, shit like that. When you're listening to those songs from Queen 1 and 2, Brian kind of gets lost in the mix. If he was like up front and prominent, he'd be fucking knocking you down and stepping on your face. So, My Fairy King's great. Liar's fucking great. Night Comes Down is fucking great. Modern Time Rock and Roll is fucking great. Son and Daughter is fucking great. And Jesus. That wasn't an exclamation point. There's actually a song called Jesus. It's a fucking cool song. And then it leads out Seven Seas of Rye. It's kind of like a snippet of what would come because Freddie was kind of working on Seven Seas of Rye as this album was wrapping up. My version has Mad the Swine, which was from June of 72. There's a lot of songs in here that were from their previous bands. They were all in previous bands, and then they kind of hooked up and became Queen. But so there's a lot of songs that, you know, had been worked on in Freddie's band and in Brian's band and, you know, that kind of stuff. So but this is a fucking solid album. It's heavy in spots. It's kind of minstrelly in spots, like Jethro Tull kind of shit. And then, but there's some hard rocking in there that kind of, like I said, kind of gets lost in the mix because, you know, they didn't really know how to fucking mix Mr. fucking Brian May at that point. So, Queen, the debut is number 6. Number 5 is an album. I fucking love this fucking album. So, and I always kind of forget about it. And then I remember like, oh shit, wait. And that's going to be 1978's Jazz. Jazz, which starts off with Mustafa, 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 whatever the fuck he's saying. Mustafa, which is fucking awesome. It's got fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round. See, like fat bottom girls, man, it's got that fucking riff in it that is so fucking cool. But it's kind of like back in the mix, man. It's like, wow, bam, bam. I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad, till I made my life in this locality. Left alone with big fat Fanny, she was such a naughty nanny. Heap big woman, you but made a man of me. I don't know what the song was. I don't know. Read into it what you want. It's got bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. You say Coke, I say Kane. Said, hey, you say John, I say Wayne. Hey, man, Jaws was never my thing, and I don't like Star Wars. Freddie didn't like Star Wars. What the fuck, Freddie? And let me entertain you. Let me entertain you tonight. Dead on time. Dead on time. Dead on time. God, I think that was the Roger Taylor song, right? Yeah, of course. They always had a. Most of the time, Roger Taylor songs were cool. Some of the times they were not, but most of the time they were pretty fucking cool. It had Fun It. It had Fun It. Fun It is the Roger Taylor song on this one. Dead on Time is just a cool song. Dead on Time. Dead on Time. Fun It's fun. That's a cool fucking Roger Taylor song. It had Leaving Home Ain't Easy. And it had fucking Don't Stop Me Now. This album is amazing. And then it had more of that jazz, which was at the end. Jealousy was alright. If you can't beat them, that was alright. In Only 7 Days, Dreamer's Ball, like those were cool, but like, dude, don't stop me now. Having such a good time. That's another song that people are filching all the time and using in different stuff. I fucking love that song. It's such a fucking great song where he's like, call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I'm gonna make a supersonic moment of you. Don't stop me. Don't stop me. Ha, ha, ha. That's fucking Queen fucking kicking out the blocks right there. That's a fucking great song. So, I fucking love that song. All right. And that is fucking Jazz, number 5, 1978. Number 4, I'm going to go News of the World. News of the World's got that robot or crushing the guys in Queen and they're all falling out. Roger Taylor wasn't even on the front of the cover. He had to flip it over and check out the back to see Roger Taylor's blonde ass falling. Jazz. Remember, like I said, poor little Day at the Races, because you had a night at the opera, and then you had News of the World, and in between that, you had Day of the Races. And so Day of the Races was kind of like that album that was kind of like, it was all right, but whoa and whoa, you know. So you got We Will Rock You. Jesus. Buddy, y'all boy, make a big noise, man, and the beat gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, we will rock you. Yeah, whoa. It's got We Are the Champions. I've paid my time, I've paid my dues, time after time. I've had my shadows I kicked in my face, and I never know. Everybody on it, on it, on. We are the champions, my friend. Wow, wow. Yeah, it's fucking Sheer Heart Attack, Sheer Heart Attack. It almost sounds like a punk song on here. Sheer Heart Attack was kind of like a leftover from Sheer Heart Attack. They never really finished it while they were working on that album. So, 3 albums later, it ends up on News of the World. All Dead, which was a song written about Brian May's cat. That's a great fucking song. All dead. It has Spread Your Wings, which is fucking great. It has Right From the Inside. It has Get Down, Make Love. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so like what? Like the first fucking 7 songs are fucking stellar. Now Sleeping on the Sidewalk, which is like a song that Brian May wrote about, like a fucking saxophone player or something, making it big. It has Who Needs You, It's Late, My Melancholy Blues. Well, the last 4 songs of the album are like weak, but the first 7 fucking songs are amazing, so it doesn't even fucking matter. So this is number fucking 4, which is News of the World. They filched that. The cover was from a sci-fi magazine from like 1953, and it just had like a one dead guy, so they just kind of erased that and put the band members in. But that. And if you've noticed, I think it's Freddy. Freddy's upside down. He's dead. He's got like a hole punched in his chest. And if you look at the robot's like middle finger is dipped in red, like he punched a hole in Freddy's chest. Anyway, yeah, it's his middle finger too. It's not even his pointy finger. So he was like, ew. All right, number 3 is going to be 1974's Sheer Heart Attack, which is not on that album, so that's kind of funny. This is when they had their first kind of international hit. It opens with Brighton Rock, which is phenomenal. Fucking Brighton Rock. And then it has all that fucking guitar work and stuff that fucking Brian May does on there. It's fucking stellar. And then it has She Keeps a Moet Chandel in a pretty cabinet. Let her eat cake, she said, just like we're Marie Antoinette, right? Met a man from China, went down to Geisha Minor. Anyways, incidentally, if you're that way inclined. Killer Queen, that was their first kind of international hit. It's written about like a high-class hooker. Don't want to know. It has Tenement Funster, which is the Roger Taylor song on here. Where he's talking about his high heel sneakers are amazing, folks, on the second floor. I think something like that. It's fucking hilarious. It's got Flick of the Wrist and You're Dead, Baby. Fucking great song. It has Lily of the Valley. As Now I'm Here. Now, Brian May had a lot of shit happen to him. I know at one point when they were in like Japan or something, he got like fucking like hepatitis or something. He had to be hospitalized. On this album, he had to be hospitalized because he had like a duodenal ulcer. And so he wrote this song in like the hospital or while he was gone, recovering or whatever. In the lap of the... And Now I'm Here was like a fucking concert staple too, by the way. Now I'm here. Where like there was multiple Freddys all over the place. In the Lap of the Gods doesn't have anything to do with In the Lap of the Gods Revisited, but that's a great fucking song. And then he has fucking the first thrash metal song of all time, 1974's Stone Cold Crazy. Now you got the Metallica version where James kind of changes the lyrics, the F word a couple times, but The Freddie Mercury version was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, where he's like, on a Saturday morning, I was dreaming I was Al Capone. There's a rumor going around, gotta clear out of town, yeah, I'm spelling like a dry fish bone. Here comes the law, gonna break down my door, gotta get away. Never get it anymore, gotta get away from the Stone Cold floor. Crazy! Stone Cold crazy. Where he's like, shooting everybody with a rubber Tommy water gun. And then James Hetfield said fully loaded Tommy gun. Gotta fucking get up and run. I got my son. I got my sirens loose. I ran right out of juice. Anymore, can't take it anymore. Gotta get away from the Stone Cold floor. Crazy. Just listen to the riff on this. It's like, I mean, it's fucking metal. Dear Friends is okay. Misfire's okay. Bring back that Leroy Brown. I don't know if it was homage to Jim Croce, because Jim Croce had died by this point. I think it was kind of an homage to them, but it's fun. And if you listen to like Roger Taylor's playing on this song, bring back that Leroy Brown. It's kind of like this is Roger Taylor's like fucking drummer. He's like, he could have played in a big band if this shit hadn't fucking panned out for them. She Makes Me, Stormtrooper and Stilettos. It's a cool fucking song. Got a little moaning and shit towards the back there, where he's like, but little Brian May, and then In the Lap of the Gods. This is a fucking great album for being their third album. Pretty fucking awesome. That's number 3. Gotta get away from the Stone Cold floor. Crazy. Number 2 is number 2. 1974. There was 2 albums that came out in 74. One was Sheer Heart Attack. The other one was Queen 2. A lot of people forget about Queen 2. And I get it. It's got that iconic cover with them that they use a lot of the 4 of them. I know they use it in like the Bohemian Rhapsody video, like a year later, but a lot of people like kind of forget about how amazing this fucking album was. And I hadn't listened to this. When we were kids, we didn't get that far back. We were in like What's Hot Right Now, and then if you really, 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 really loved a band, maybe you would go back and like, for me, I think the furthest I went back when I was a kid was like Night at the Opera. Like I'd never heard fucking Sheer Heart Attack. And I definitely hadn't heard Queen 1 and 2. So for us, it was like, kind of like where the popular stops. That's kind of as far back as we went. Of course, years later, when we're adults, we go back and we discover like, this album is drop dead gorgeous. It's friggin' amazing. Opens with Procession and goes into Father and Son, which is fucking great. It has White Queen, As It Began. This album had the white side and the dark side. It had Someday One Day, which is a fucking great song. It had The Loser in the End. Jesus. Then it went into Ogre Battle. Jesus. Barry Feller's Master Stroke, which was based on a painting called the Barry Feller's Master Stroke, and I'll put it up here. Nevermore, The March of the Black Queen. Listen to The March of the Black Queen. Jesus Christ, man. There's some fucking riffs in there. You're just like, oh my God. Funny How Love Is Alright. Seven Seas of Rye. The real Seven Seas of Rye. Where I'll take you to the Seven Seas of Rye. Seven Seas of Rye was this little fictional place that Freddie and his like older sister had come up with, and that was their little Narnia or fucking Oz or whatever, and it was Rye, and so he was kind of basing stuff around that. But this is a fucking great album. There's a lot of There's like metal on this fucking album. There's like folksy shit on this album. There's like ballroom fucking waltzes on this fucking album. This is fucking album for being their second album and them being nobody. Because the first album didn't sell shit. This album didn't sell shit. Sheer Heart Attack, they got that one hit off of it, but it wasn't really until like Night of the Opera where they were like kind of starting to get bigger and noticed. This album is a fucking drop dead classic, and like I said, a lot of people fucking overlook Queen 2, just because of the next album. So number one, obviously, is A Night at the Opera from 1970. It's really not. Because that's not even my favorite song on the fucking album. Even though you have to understand that Bohemian Rhapsody is a fucking classic. Bohemian Rhapsody is up there with fucking everything. It is. It's up there with fucking Stairway to Heaven. It's up there with fucking Back in Black. You know, it's up there with the fucking greatest rock songs of all time. It is. And I understand that. That's fucking amazing. And Bohemian Rhapsody is probably the reason I got into this album. So thank you, Bohemian Rhapsody. But like I said, not my favorite album or my favorite song on the album. It opens up with Death on Two Legs, and it says dedicated to. And Freddie wasn't very shy when he was talking about their ex manager, because this song was like basically about Norman Sheffield, their first manager, because Queen felt that they were treated poorly by him and kind of ripped off and kind of pushed back and not really like promoted correctly. Because dude, if you listen to Queen 1, 2, and fucking like listen to the first 3 albums, they're fucking stellar, man. They're fucking stellar. Like, Queen should have been huge already, but they weren't because, you know, they blamed their management, who obviously there were some issues there, and I guess he, like, ripped them off, and I don't know. He actually wrote a fucking book, like, defending himself. That's how much he took this song, you know, personally, so... Bum, bum, bum. It's got lazing on a Sunday afternoon. See, that's the thing, man. You got Death on Two Legs. Death on Two Legs. You're a shock. You should shoot yourself. You should, whatever he says. And then you go to Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, which is so lighthearted. And then you got I'm in love with my car. Got a feel for my automobile. It's fucking probably the best Roger Taylor Queen song there ever was. Fucking in love with my car. It's got You're My Best Friend. It's got In the Year of 39 from fucking Brian May. 39. It's got Seaside Rendezvous. And my favorite song on this fucking album, and most people couldn't even they don't even know what the song is. It's the Prophet song. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite Queen songs ever. Ever. Oh, it's so good. It's a fucking... How long is it? It's fucking long. It's 8:23. Oh, people of the earth, listen to the wise man, the seer. He said... They'll be coming for to run out of the rain. Wow! Live for your love. Oh my God, that song is so good. Listen to that song. If you don't do anything from listening to this and doing anything, if you do nothing except go out and listen to the Prophet song, I've done my job. Because most people, like I said, there's no Bohemian Rhapsody up this album. you know, they know Best Friend. They might even know, like, In Love with My Car. Um, but Prophet Song. If you want to look at deep tracks on Queen albums, Prophet Song, yikes. It is fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite songs. One of my favorite Queen songs, but just one of my favorite songs of all time. It's so fucking rich and intricate, and there's so many different fucking layers of it. It's fucking awesome. So, got Love of My Life. Love of My Life's a great song, and then it's got Bohemian Rhapsody. That's God Save the Queen, which they ended every fucking concert with, but I'm not English, so I'm not really into the Queen, so I don't really give a fuck about that. This is it. I mean, this is an amazing album. Sweet Lady's alright. You know, Good Company's alright. They're just kind of like, you know, those are probably the two songs on it that I think are kind of weak. God Save the Queen. Yeah. Otherwise, this is my number one. A Night at the Opera. I almost said A Day at the Races. A Night at the Opera. Number one Queen album for me. There's a lot of really cool fucking live albums. You got Live Killers from '79, which was on the Jazz Tour. The only thing I don't like about that is because when Freddie introduces Death on Two Legs, he says, "This is for this motherfucker." He says "motherfucker" on there, and they beep it out, and they never fix that, and I don't know why. For me, and it sucks because I love that album. It's a great album. It's got fucking some really cool fucking live tracks on it. But that little fucking part where they fucking beep out Death on Two Legs just bugs me. It's like, ugh. Because for one, I fucking hate censorship. I fucking hate that shit. Okay? Don't fucking censor anything for me. Because I'm of the opinion, first of all, I could say fuck, and I say fuck a lot. It's one of my favorite words. But it doesn't make me a bad person because I say fuck. It's a word. It's a word. It's not changing the climate or fucking making me into a fucking serial killer. I just say fuck because I love that word because it's a cool word. I just don't like fucking censorship. To me, it's like if there's something that you don't like, then don't listen to it. Otherwise, leave it the fuck alone. But Adam came back in '79. The record company, there was no way they were going to put Motherfucker on a fucking album. So they fucking edited it. So to me, it fucking tarnishes that album just like slightly. But dude, Live Killers from '79. It's got We Will Rock You. It's got Let Me Entertain You. Death on Two Legs. Killer Queen. Bicycle Race. I'm in Love with My Car. Get Down, Make Love. You're My Best Friend. Now I'm Here. Dreamer's Ball. Love of My Life. 39. Keep Yourself Alive. Whew. Don't Stop Me Now. Spread Your Wings. Brighton Rock, which is fucking amazing because that was, you know, big guitar solo from fucking Brian May. As Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody is not even the encore. You know, has Tie Your Mother Down, Sheer Heart Attack, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, and has God Save the Queen. They open with We Will Rock You, they end with We Will Rock You. That's just the way they did it. Fuck, what is that? 23 songs, 22 songs. Woo! That's a fucking great album. The other live one that I love is Queen Live at Wembley, and I'm not going to name it. It has 28 songs on it. There's like little medleys. He does like Big Spender. He does Tutti Frutti. Hello, Mary Lou. You're So Square. There's a little section in there where they do like a bunch of little fun stuff. So that's a fucking killer album. The Live Magic is kind of like the neutered version of that. Got 15 songs, but I have them both. because they're fucking stellar. But the Live at Wembley 2-disc set is fucking great. I also have Queen on Fire Live at the Bowl from 1982, and that's fucking great. 82, so that would be on. Wow. Is this on the Hot Space Tour? Get Down, Make Love, Play the Game. It almost looks like it's on the Game Tour, but then they do a couple of songs from Flash Gordon on here, so. No, it has Back Chat on it, so it is. This is from like the fucking Hot Space Tour, and it's a 2-disc set. It's got fucking like 26 songs on it. It's pretty awesome. And then I got Queen Rock Montreal, which is from November 24th and 25th, 1981 in Montreal, and this is a great fucking. This is definitely on the fucking Game Tour. But they do like Jailhouse Rock. They did Flash and then they do The Hero. So those are the two singing songs on the Flash Gordon soundtrack. So that's a cool one. I know they came out with like Kiss Queen Rocks. I said Kiss. Queen Rocks, and it has, it's like a greatest hits. And they have like a bunch of greatest hits, which I have like all three of them. I have the platinum version, which has 1 through 3 on it, which is pretty cool. Queen, for a lot of people, might just be like that greatest hits band where they just get the greatest hits and they're like, that's all I need. But there's a lot of deep cuts on these albums that are fucking stellar. Like I said, look up the Prophet song. I can't tell you enough how fucking awesome that song is. Mustafa from fucking Jazz, there's so many fucking great deep cuts. They got a Live at the Beeb too, which had some really cool stuff. And this is mostly from Queen 2. So that's a fucking cool thing to pick up. But like I said, Queen is one of those bands, man, that just, dude, they didn't fit into a mold ever. They fucking did what they wanted. Freddie Mercury did what he wanted. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. Sometimes people were like, what the fuck? And, like Hot Space. But years later, when you look back at it, you almost, no matter what Freddie put his hands on, his genius would just bleed through. And really, even when like Hot Space came out and you were like, the fuck? And then you kind of, when you give it a real listen, there's fucking genius on that album. Might not be anybody's favorite, but I mean, it's not my favorite. Fuck, it's number 12. But there's at least four songs on there that are fucking genius. So fuck, go listen to some Queen. Go watch the movie. Like I said, it was fun. It's a biopic. It was fun, but Freddie's not here to defend himself, so based on other people's, views of what happened. So, that's all I got, man. Fucking go listen to some fucking Queen, because I fucking love Queen, man. I love everything about them. So, yeah. Everybody stay metal!